Hello, welcome. In this lecture, let us understand about throughput controller in JMeter. The throughput controller lets you control how often certain parts of your test are run. For example, if you have a certain request here under throughput controller and there is a one more throughput controller, let us say there is one more request. Suppose you want to run this request 70% of the time and this request 30% of the time, then you can do this, you can achieve this using throughput controller. It means if you run this entire thing 10 times, this will run 7 times and this will run 3 times. Let us understand how throughput controller works. You set a percentage or a fixed number and to decide how often JMeter should run the request inside a throughput controller. Shortly we will look into where we can set the number and percentage, but remember we can set the percentage or a fixed number to decide how many times you want to run certain request. Now let us understand with a real time use case example. Suppose you are testing an e-commerce website where 50% of the users are visiting the home page and 30% of the users are visiting the login page and 10% of the users are visiting the registration page and remaining 10% of the users are visiting the sign-in page. And we can simulate this scenario using throughput controller. It means if you run this request 10 times, means if you run this entire thing 10 times, what will happen is this will run for 5 times, this will run for 3 times, this will run 1 time and this will run 1 time, right? Like this we can control the throughput using throughput controller. You can set a throughput controller to reflect these user pattern, ensuring your test mimic the real user behavior. Let us understand why to use the throughput controller. Throughput controller is perfect when you want to simulate real world scenario where different parts of your website or application are accessed by users at different rates. Every part of the application will not be accessed in the same rate, right? Different parts of your application are accessed at a different rate. So in that case, it is useful. Throughput controller helps you to control the load on different sections of your test plan. You can apply different load on different section of your test plan. Now let me open the JMeter and let us practically understand how we can implement the throughput controller. Now let me open the JMeter and we will practically implement this particular real-time use case using throughput controller. I have opened the JMeter now. I will add the thread group first. In the thread group, we can set number of loops 10 for illustration purpose, or even you can set number of threads equal to 10 as well and number of loop 1. So I will set the number of loop 10 and now I will add here the throughput controller. You can call it as throughput controller 1, right? Here we can place the home page. This home page request we can place under this throughput controller. Here percentage of execution, it is executed 50% of the times, right? So you can specify here 50 and here you can specify the home page URL. For example, so let me open the JPEG Store website and let us see. Okay, let us consider this as a home page. I can apply this home page URL here. So this is the URL. So this is the path. Now I can add one more throughput controller. I will call it as throughput controller 2. Under this particular controller, we can add the login page which is accessed 30% of the time, right? I will add one more sampler here. For this throughput controller, we set 30% and this request is, so this request we can call it as home page. This request we can call it as login page, and I will add one more throughput controller. We will call it as throughput controller 3, and I will add one more HTTP request under throughput controller 3, and this one is registration page. We can call it as registration page, which is accessed 10% of the time. We can set here percentage as 10. For sign in page, I can add one more throughput controller here. Sign in page is accessed 10% of the time, so we can set this. See here we have selected the percentage execution, so I am setting here percentage, right? We can set the total execution as well. Total execution means we can specify the number of times it gets executed. First let us look at it using percentage. So now I will add here the login sign in page, right? Sign in page, right? So sign in page is this one, right? Sign in URL. Okay, this is a sign in page URL. I can place it here properly. Okay, this is a registration page URL is here. We can copy this, and this is a registration page. Registration page path, right? And the login page. So this is a sign in page. Okay, so where did we miss? Actually this 30% of the time we can mention it as sign in and login are same page as here, so I will specify it as a product page. Product page can be here, these pages, right? You can specify these product pages, right? So this is a 30% of the time product pages, right? So product page 1, so we can specify this one here, right? Similarly for other products also we can specify here, right? Product page 2 and product page 3. How many products are there here? Product 3, 4, 5 products are there. Let us create 5 pages here. Product page 3 and product page 4 and product page 5, right? Here we have made a change here because we specified the sign in login like it is 2 times, so it is same. So I have changed this to product page, right? So we have 5 different products. We can change here product page here. Firstly fish, second one is dogs. We can specify dogs here, dogs. Third one is reptiles. We can specify the reptiles here. Fourth one is cats, and the fifth product is birds. Now we have created a test plan where this home page which accessed 50% of the time, and this product page will be accessed 30% of the time, right? And this registration page will be accessed 10% of the time, and this sign in page will be accessed 10% of the time. And I can add the listeners here to view the result tree, and I can also add one more listener summary report. Now what we can do is here the server name or IP is same for all these requests. You can add a HTTP request default here as well, right? Under config element HTTP request defaults, right? Here HTTP request defaults you can add here. right? HTTP request defaults, you can specify this here and this one, right? And from these pages, from these samplers, you can only specify the path name, because base URL, the server name is protocol is same for all the requests. So I will remove this, right? So we can remove all this, as we have already placed this under request default, which is applicable for all the requests under this thread group, right? So I can remove this as well. I can remove this as well. I can remove this, and I will remove this as well. Now I will save this test plan as a throughput controller demo. So I will save this test plan. Now let us run and observe how it behaves. Let me start the execution. You can observe here home page. We have specified, we have run here 10 times, right? And we have specified home page 50% of the time. That is why home page is running 5 times. Out of 10, 5 times it is running. And for these pages we have specified 30% of the time. So each of this request is running 30% of the time. That is 3 times. Product page 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Each one is running 3 times, right? Here, because we have specified 30%. 30% of 10 is 3. If you change it to 20, it will become 6 here. It will run for 6 times, and this will run for 10 times. At registration page, we have specified 10% of the time. 10% of 10 is 1, right? It is running 1 time here. Sign in page also, here 10%. 10% of 10 is 1, right? So it is running 1 time here. If I change this to 20 now, right? 50% of 20 is 10. 10 times home page will run. Next time when I run, it should run 10 times, and all these will run 6 times, because 30% of 20. This is a 30%, but it is running 20 times. 30% of 20 times is 6, and these requests will run 2 times, because 10% of 20, that will be 2. This will run 2 times each. This will run 6 times each, and this will run 10 times. Now let me clear and run again. Now I have made only change here. Instead of 10 loops, I have mentioned 20 loops. And let us run and verify how it behaves. You can observe here home page is running 10 times now, because we have mentioned 50% here, and total it is running 20 times. 50% of 20, that is half of 20 is 10, right? So that is why it is running 10 times. And this one is 30%, that is 30% of 20. If you open the calculator, you can say 20 into 30%, right, equal to 6, right? 20 into 50% equal to 10. That is why home page is running 10 times. And here registration page is running 2 times, because it is 10% of 20. It means 20 into 10% equal to 2. That is why it is running 2 times. Similarly, sign in page 2 times, because again this is 10% of 20, that is 2 times, right? So in this way you can control the throughput. We can control how many percentage of the time the requests under these controllers are executed by adjusting the percentage in these controllers. Here we have one more option. Instead of specifying the percentage of execution, you can also specify here total executions, means how many times it gets executed, right? Let us say I can specify here 10 times I want to execute it, right? Out of 20, right? We can specify this number as well. So generally we will use percentage so that it will be easy for you to calculate later, but you can specify total execution as well here, right? 10 times I specify, or even I can specify 8 times here. It means it should run 8 times now, home page. It is a number, not a percentage, right? So let me clear this and let us run this again and verify. See here, this time home page is running only 8 times because we have specified here number 8, and here we have changed total execution, not percentage. You can specify either percentage or total execution for each of this. It's all up to you. So I will change it back to the percentage itself. I will specify this as a 50%. Let me save and let me clear this and let me run again. It is perfectly working fine. So throughput controller is basically used to control how many times you want to execute or how many percentage of time you want to execute certain requests. Suppose you are running this loop 1000 times, but only 100 times I want to execute these product pages. Then you can specify here 1000 loop, 1000 loop, and 100 times means only 10% of time I want to execute this product pages, right? That you can adjust. So based on your requirement, you can adjust the percentage here or total execution, right? So I will change it back to 10 or 20, let us say 20 loops I want to run, and here I want to run it for 30% of the time, right? I will keep it like this. And this is about the throughput controller. I will attach this test plan in the resource section of the video. Thank you for watching.